Dear children, this is the second video for second week, characteristics of living organisms. In the previous video, you learned some of the important characteristics of living organisms. Under that, you learned cellular organization, nutrition, and respiration as characteristics of living organisms. Other than that, you learn there are 8 common characteristics of living organisms. Based on the things you learned in the previous video, I thought of discussing some questions based on that area. Look at the question number 1. What are the main characteristics of living organisms? Can you remember? You learn 8 characteristics of living organisms. Cellular organization, nutrition, respiration, irritability and coordination, excretion, movement, reproduction, growth and development. Question number 2. What are the levels of organization in multicellular organisms? In unicellular organisms, you learn there is no cellular level organization, but they have organelle level organization. They have only one cell, the body. They have organelle level organization. In multicellular organisms, the cellular level organization. What are the levels of organization in multicellular organisms? Cell, tissue, organ system, and organism. Question number 3. Mention 3 types of tissues in your body or in human body. There are various kinds of tissues in both animals and plants. Mention 3 types of tissues in human body. Muscular tissue, nervous tissue, epithelial tissue, connective tissue. There are kinds of tissues found in your body. Question number 4. Name 3 organs in human body. There are a large number of organs in human body. I will just name 3 such organs. Liver, kidney, skin, eye, nose, like there are a number of organs. You know the organs are formed by organizing of tissues. Question number 5. Give 2 examples for organ systems in man. There are about 10 systems in your body, organ systems. Respiratory system, digestive system, nervous system, reproductive system, endocrine system, excretory system, like number of systems in your body. Dear children, here there are some questions. You have to answer them at the end of this lesson. Name 2 types of tissues in plants. What are the 2 main systems in plants? What is known as nutrition? What is known as autotrophic organism, or what are known as autotrophic organisms? Write down the word equation for the process of photosynthesis. What is the method that the energy produced by green plants flow into other organisms in the environment? What is known as cellular respiration? Write the equation for cellular respiration. You can pause the video and answer these questions. Right. Now I'll continue the lesson from the point we stopped in the previous video regarding various characteristics of living organisms. One such is respiration. You learn Respiration is the process by which stored food is transformed into energy inside the cells. The process by which stored food is transformed into energy inside the cells is known as cellular respiration. Cell respiration can be given by an equation like glucose plus oxygen, carbon dioxide, water, and energy. Energy is stored in a chemical compound called adenosine triphosphate. By the process of cellular respiration, it produces carbon dioxide and it is released. You are going to study an experiment to show the release of carbon dioxide during respiration. Carbon dioxide is produced by cellular respiration and it is released to the external environment by the organisms. For this experiment, you need not 6 really, 5 large bottles with lids, delivery tubes, calcium hydroxide or lime water, that is to identify carbon dioxide gas. When carbon dioxide gas passes through lime water, it turns into milky color. Potassium hydroxide is another chemical. It is an absorbent of carbon dioxide. Potassium hydroxide can absorb carbon dioxide in the air. A frog and water. You set up this apparatus like this, connecting 5 bottles with the delivery tubes, and they have been labeled as A, B, C, D and E. The bottle A is connected to B by the delivery tube like this, and the 5th bottle, it contains water, and there is a tap to remove water here. The purpose of using this 5th bottle is to make a suction pressure to suck the air in the atmosphere through these 4 bottles. You need to make a suction pressure from here at this point. To make this suction pressure, you are using this bottle. When you open the tap, water goes out. When the water goes out, here the volume increases, the empty space increases, so the pressure decreases and it makes a suction pressure. The air in the bottle D is sucked into bottle E, and the air in bottle C comes to bottle D, and the air in B flows to C, and air in A flows to B, and air in the atmosphere get into A. This is how the air flows through these 4 bottles when you open the tap. In the first bottle, it contains potassium hydroxide that is used for absorbing carbon dioxide gas coming from the atmospheric air. Atmospheric air contains little amount of carbon dioxide. That carbon dioxide dissolves in potassium hydroxide when it is passed into this delivery tube through potassium hydroxide. Then the air in the bottle A at the upper part doesn't contain carbon dioxide because all the carbon dioxide dissolves in potassium hydroxide here. You can verify whether carbon dioxide presence here by passing the gas or passing this air through lime water in B. When this air passes through the lime water, if it contains carbon dioxide, the lime water turns into milky color. If the bottle A contains carbon dioxide in the upper space, when this gas passes through the lime water in B, if it contains carbon dioxide, lime water turns into milk color. Otherwise, it doesn't change the color of lime water. Then the air in B passes to bottle C. Now you see the bottle C, there is a frog. The frog is an organism. It respirates and releases carbon dioxide. You can't see, but we know that by the respiration it produces carbon dioxide. If it produces carbon dioxide, that carbon dioxide containing air passes through lime water in D. Really, if it contains carbon dioxide, the lime water in D should turn into milky color. If the lime water in D turns into milky color, you can confirm, you can make sure that the frog has released carbon dioxide. That's why the lime water in D turns into milky color. But the lime water in bottle B doesn't turn into a milky color because air coming from the bottle A doesn't contain carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide coming from the atmosphere was absorbed by potassium hydroxide. Accordingly, it is very apparent that the frog has released carbon dioxide. By this simple activity, you can come to a conclusion that respiration releases carbon dioxide gas. The frog respirates and releases carbon dioxide. To confirm these observations, you can repeat the experiment as a control experiment. You can repeat the experiment by removing the frog. In this setup, there is no frog. If you open the tap and observe, you see the lime water in the B doesn't change to milky color, and lime water in D, the color doesn't change. That means no carbon dioxide has produced in bottle C because there is no frog or no respiration take place. Then you can come to a conclusion. Respiration releases carbon dioxide gas. The children, not only animals, even the plants respirate and release carbon dioxide by the process of respiration. You can use the same apparatus to show that the plant releases carbon dioxide by respiration. So what you have to do is putting a plant. No, you can't put a plant inside this because plant release carbon dioxide as well as oxygen both, and it absorbs carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. So you can't put a plant here. Instead of that, you are putting some seeds of plants, germinating seeds, because germinating seeds respirate very fast. You can get the observations quickly. So you are putting not a plant here, some germinating seeds like green gram, maize or bean seeds. Then carry out the experiment. Open the tap in bottle E to make a suction pressure. Then the air flows through this set of bottles. As the green gram seeds respirate and release carbon dioxide, you come to see the lime water in D turns into milky color. If you repeat experiment without green gram seeds, the lime water in D doesn't change into milky color because there is no carbon dioxide release. You can confirm that plants release carbon dioxide by cellular respiration. This is also the same apparatus. Here, caustic potash or potassium hydroxide solution, lime water, germinating seeds, and lime water. And here, to a suction pump. Dear children, you learn for the cellular respiration, the reaction of cellular respiration, glucose reacted with oxygen, producing energy, carbon dioxide, and water. We can experimentally show that organisms absorb oxygen for the respiration. For their cellular respiration, organisms absorb oxygen, release carbon dioxide, and absorb oxygen. To show that experimentally, you need a conical flask, a small test tube or an ignition tube, potassium hydroxide solution which is uh, absorbent of carbon dioxide, germinating seeds, colored water, small beaker, and delivery tube. Then set the apparatus like this. Put the germinating seeds into the conical flask and put small amount of potassium hydroxide into the ignition tube or a test tube and place it inside the conical flask and seal the apparatus with a stopper. Then fix the delivery tube as you see on the screen and immerse that in colored water. Immerse that in colored water. Make same setup uh, without germinating seeds. Same setup without germinating seeds or without potassium hydroxide. In this setup without potassium hydroxide, and observe what happens. Here you have kept potassium hydroxide. It is an absorbent of carbon dioxide. You know, when the germinating seeds respirate, it absorbs carbon dioxide and it absorbs oxygen and it releases carbon dioxide. The releasing carbon dioxide is dissolved in potassium hydroxide. Then as oxygen gas is absorbed by the germinating seeds, it makes a low pressure inside the conical flask. Because of the low pressure developed in the conical flask, air inside the tube flows into the conical flask because of the low pressure here. Then as the pressure decreases inside the delivery tube or the glass tube, colored water in the beaker rises up. The reason for rising up of colored water is absorption of oxygen gas inside the conical flask by germinating seeds. So you can come to a conclusion. These germinating seeds absorb oxygen for respiration. But in the second setup, there is no potassium hydroxide. As there is no potassium hydroxide, here respiration takes place, though there is no potassium hydroxide. Respiration takes place, oxygen is absorbed. But the plant seeds release carbon dioxide. Oxygen absorb, release carbon dioxide. Then it doesn't make pressure difference inside. So the air doesn't come into the conical flask and no suction pressure is made and no rise of colored water. But the respiration takes place, but you can't see that. You can't get a significant observation. The children, by this simple activity, you can come to a conclusion that not only the animals, the plants also respirate, and for the respiration of organisms, oxygen gas is absorbed. What you learn is a characteristic of living organisms, the respiration. Another characteristic common to living organisms is irritability and coordination. Irritability and coordination. To understand the concept, it is good to know some important terms. You know, there are various changes occurring in the environment. Various sounds originate, the temperature changes, and various things are happening in the environment. Organisms respond to these changes occurring in the environment. Any change which is strong enough to bring about a response is called stimulus. If there's a big band outside and if you can hear it, it is a stimulus for you. If you don't hear that, it is not a stimulus for you. The stimulus is Any change which is strong enough to bring about a response in an organism. Stimulus. These stimuli are received by your sense organs or the receptors. Eye, ear, nose, tongue, skin like sense organs receive these stimuli in your environment. What are the various kinds of stimuli? The light is a stimuli sensible for your eye. The sound is another stimuli sensitive to your ear, and chemicals, mechanical things or physical vibrations. There are various kinds of stimuli. What I want to emphasize is the stimulus. Any change occurring in the environment and strong enough to bring about a response in an organism is the stimulus. The reactions made by the organisms for a certain stimulus is known as response. The reactions made by the organisms for any change in the environment is known as response. For the stimuli, organisms show responses. For example, sound is a stimulus, and closing your ears by both hands is a response. Stimulus and response. Now it is the time for you to understand the concept irritability. Irritability and coordination is a characteristic of living organisms. What is irritability? The ability of an organism to respond to stimuli receives from internal or an external environment is irritability. The ability to respond to stimuli. Ability to respond to stimuli is irritability. The communication between different organs during the responding to a stimulus is known as coordination. For responding to a certain stimuli, there should be a coordination between the receptors or the sense organs and the effectors. The receptors and effectors must be connected. There should be a communication between the receptors and the effectors, the muscles or the glands. We call it as coordination. The communication between different organs during responding to a stimulus is known as coordination. For the process of coordination, you need the nerves, muscles, hormones, and the connection between them. Not only animals, even the plant respond to stimuli. When the light falls, a plant bends and grows toward the light. When a mimosa plant is touched, you see the leaves getting folded. At dark, in some plants, the leaves getting folded. Some plants like the Venus flytrapper trap the insects when there's a touch or when there's a vibration. Plants also respond to stimuli. They show the irritability. In our body, the irritability and the coordination is supported or is carried out by mainly the nervous system. They carry the impulses from the sense organs to the effectors. It coordinates. Have a look at this nice diagram and try to describe this incident. There's a person closer to a ladder and there's a bucket of ink on the ladder. And when he looks up and he sees the bucket of ink is about to fall on his head. And he thought that it is falling on his head and he ran away to the other side. What happened? it fell on the other side and he had a nice bath of it. What is the reason for the person to run away? Seen a bucket of ink. The stimulus is seen a bucket of ink. But the response made by the organism, the response is running away. Stimulus is seen a bucket of ink. The response is running away. For making this response, there should be a coordination between the sense organ, the eye, and the muscles of the leg. That coordination is done by your nervous system. Organisms respond to stimuli, that is irritability. That's a person. And if you come to see a tiger coming towards him, what would be the response? No doubt, running away. What made him to run away? Scene of a tiger. The response, running away. Stimulus, scene of a tiger. Response, running away. That is because of irritability. If there is no irritability in this man, he would die because of attack by the tiger. The irritability is important for survival of any organism. The nervous system which is helpful for the irritability and coordination. These are the neurons or the cells important for irritability and coordination. The responses are received by the receptors and they are carried to the neurons and responses are made by the effectors. Then the muscle contracts. Irritability and coordination. Nerve impulses are carried to the neurons or the nerve cells. I told you at the beginning, not only the animals, even the plants show irritability and coordination. There are some kinds of plants you can show very rapid movements, rapid responses like Venus, fly, trapper, and mimosa plants. You know the sesbania, tamarind, and Tora-like plants fold their leaves at dark. That is a response to external stimuli. Dear children, you have learned 4 characteristics of living organisms: cellular organization, nutrition, respiration, irritability, and coordination. In next video, we are going to discuss some other characteristics of living organisms, and I hope you will watch the 2 videos in this lesson and brush up your knowledge and get ready for the question forum. Goodbye, children.